The idea that a government agency would try to control people's minds might sound like a movie plot, but it really happened. Project MKUltra was a covert CIA program that began in the early 1950s, aimed at developing techniques for mind control and psychological manipulation. Officially sanctioned in 1953, the project explored several different methods, including Kool-Aid-flavored LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, brutal electroconvulsive therapy, and other forms of mindfuck to control human behavior. The program's activities were conducted without its subjects knowing what the hell was going on. The unwitting participants included prisoners, mental patients, and even unsuspecting civilians. Initially, MKUltra was considered a conspiracy theory, with rumors and fragmented stories circulating among conspiracy theorists and the general public. These tales of government-sanctioned mind control experiments seemed far-fetched and were often dismissed as paranoid delusions and crazy talk. The transition from conspiracy theory to acknowledged conspiracy began in 1975 when a series of investigations, notably by the Church Committee along with the Rockefeller Commission, uncovered the extensive and unethical nature of MKUltra. Declassified documents and testimonies revealed the disturbing reality of the program, confirming many of the previously dismissed claims. In 1977, a Freedom of Information Act request led to the release of thousands of documents, further substantiating the allegations. These revelations transformed Project MKUltra from a shadowy rumor into a documented historical fact, exposing the dark capabilities and moral breaches of covert governmental operations. The acknowledgement of MKUltra's existence and its unethical practices reshaped public perception, highlighting the thin line between conspiracy theory and reality. Today, I'm diving into the fascinating world of conspiracy theories that turned out to be real. These theories often capture our imagination, presenting us with tantalizing possibilities and hidden truths. From secret societies to government cover-ups, conspiracy theories provoke curiosity and skepticism in equal measure. But why do these theories persist? Why do so many people believe in them despite a lack of concrete evidence? It's simple. The human mind is wired to seek patterns and explanations, especially for events that seem inexplicable or sinister. Skeptics argue that most conspiracy theories are just that, theories, born from coincidence, misunderstanding, or outright lies. They insist that these narratives are the domain of the paranoid and the gullible, unworthy of serious consideration. However, history has shown that sometimes the line between fiction and reality is thinner than we might think. Occasionally, what starts out as a wild-ass conspiracy theory turns out to be a genuine conspiracy. Take, for instance, the story of MKUltra, the secretive CIA program I just talked about. That whole thing began as a whispered rumor and ended as a verified dark chapter of American history. Join me as I show you where something started out as a conspiracy theory and ended up being reality. I'm going head fucking first into the incredible journey from skepticism to revelation, exploring how some conspiracy theories have been proven true, challenging our understanding of reality and trust in those who hold power. Hang tight because this is knuckin' futs. Distinguishing between baseless conspiracy theories and those with a basis in truth is a pretty big fucking ask. In today's information-saturated world, misinformation spreads rapidly, blurring the lines between fact and fiction. Baseless theories often rely on anecdotal accounts, cherry-picked data, and sensationalist claims without substantial proof, thriving in echo chambers that discourage critical thinking. In contrast, theories with a basis in truth present verifiable facts, credible sources, and logical consistency. The emotional appeal of conspiracy theories, offering simple explanations for complex issues, can cloud judgment and make objective assessment difficult. Critical thinking and skepticism are essential. Question the sources, seek multiple perspectives, and look for corroborating evidence. Balancing skepticism with open-mindedness is key to uncovering the truth, ensuring we don't dismiss genuine conspiracies while debunking unfounded claims. American scientists militarized the weather. Back in the day, the idea that the government could manipulate the weather for military purposes was widely dismissed as a bullshit conspiracy theory. The notion that scientists could alter natural weather patterns seemed like science fiction, and many people were pretty skeptical about it. However, it eventually turned out to be true. During the Vietnam War, Operation Popeye was conducted by the U.S. military to extend the monsoon season over the Ho Chi Minh Trail through cloud seeding. The operation, which aimed to disrupt enemy supply routes by increasing rainfall and creating impassable mud, demonstrated the feasibility of weather modification as a military strategy. This operation was kept secret for many years, and when the details were finally declassified, it confirmed that the government had absolutely manipulated the weather for military purposes. Similarly, Project Storm Fury from 1962 to 1983, which attempted to weaken hurricanes by seeding them with silver iodide, also added credibility to the concept of weather modification. Although the project didn't achieve the expected results, it showed that serious scientific efforts were being made to control and alter weather patterns. The revelation of these programs shifted the perception of weather modification from conspiracy theory to verified fact. It underscored how government and military agencies had explored and, in some cases, implemented environmental modification techniques, leading to widespread ethical and environmental concerns. The acknowledgement of these operations has since fueled ongoing debates about the potential uses and misuses of weather modification technology. I did a video on HAARP not too long ago, which is linked to weather modification. It's a badass video. I'll put the link in the description. What could be a more definitive conspiracy theory than the U.S. government spending millions of dollars on UFO research? For decades, Americans were told that Area 51 didn't really exist, and that the U.S. government had no official interest in aliens or UFOs. Statements to the contrary, official important people said, were the speculations of crackpots in tinfoil hats. But according to Albert Greco in his 2004 book, Conspiracy 101, Beginning to Be Crazy, the Air Force and the CIA had been actively investigating UFOs at taxpayer expense since the late 1940s. Greco also noted, with more than a little sarcasm, that the 1950s were filled with more government investigations into easily explainable, totally natural, anything but alien events. According to the government, there was no validity to these reports of UFOs. But they were going to continue to fucking spend millions of American tax dollars to investigate them. Makes no sense. And in 2017, conspiracy theorists got official confirmation that the government was, in fact, investigating UFOs, and it had been for some time. That same year, the Pentagon came clean and confirmed the existence of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, ATIP, which the New York Times reported was a $22 million program in a $600 billion budget. Started by the order of then Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid in 2007, the program was allegedly shut down in 2012, although the New York Times says that some officials have continued to work on it on the side since. The purpose of the program was collecting and analyzing a wide range of anomalous aerospace threats, ranging from advanced aircraft spotted by traditional U.S. adversaries to commercial drones to possible alien encounters. Experts were quick to discount the little green men part of the UFO research, though with former space shuttle engineer James Oberg saying, "There are plenty of boring events and human perceptual traits that can account for these stories. Lots of people are active in the air and don't want others to know about it. They're happy to lurk, unrecognized in the noise, or even to stir it up as camouflage." The Lone Gunman from the X-Files might be pop culture's most famous conspiracy theorists. In the Season 1 episode EBE, Lone Gunman John Fitzgerald Byers tells Mulder and Scully about a dark network, a government within a government, controlling our every move. The proof, he says, can be found in a $20 bill. He takes one from Scully and rips it up, revealing the anti-counterfeiting strip. They use this magnetic strip to track you. Whenever you go through a metal detector at an airport, they know exactly how much money you're carrying. Snopes has, sorry, I can't even say Snopes without laughing. Snopes has debunked this story, saying that according to rumors, the security thread is to allow the government to know exactly how much money anyone is carrying at any particular moment. Snopes is relying on rumors to debunk a story. Not surprising. The strip's supposed sole purpose is to catch counterfeiters. But while that last statement is more than likely true, there's also evidence that the lone gunmen were technically correct too. In 2011, Christopher Fuller and Anto Chen, both of the University of Washington, released a study called Induction Detection of Concealed Bulk Banknotes. They reasoned that because American currency has magnetic materials, it should be possible to detect how much money someone was carrying on them. According to a 2012 article, physicists used an ordinary handheld metal detector to detect a dollar bill from 3 centimeters away, and placing the notes behind plastic, cardboard, and cloth didn't block the signal. Adding more bills and $5 increments increased the strength of the signal, making it possible to count the number of bills, though they claim that denominations can't be determined from this technique. According to New Scientist, large bundles of notes would contain enough magnetic material to be detected at a distance, potentially allowing police to catch people attempting to smuggle cash over the border. In effect, to combat counterfeiting, they detect how many bills you're carrying using magnetic devices. People who have chips implanted can be tracked by satellites. I remember hearing this conspiracy theory a lot. According to the 1990s publication Relevance, this was one of the slickest examples of verifying a conspiracy theory. Physician Philip O'Halloran, the man behind the publication, wrote in one issue that biochips implanted under the skin will emit low-frequency FM radio waves that can travel a long distance, for example, several miles up into space to an orbiting satellite. The transmission would provide information on the exact location of the chippee. A year later, a psychologist writing in a New York newspaper said that mental health professionals who heard someone describing what O'Halloran proposed might make a diagnosis that that person was suffering from a severe paranoid disorder. But O'Halloran's idea was prophetic. Just 3 years later, in 1998, a professor of cybernetics at Reading University in England named Kevin Warwick received a chip implant, which, according to a contemporary article, emits a unique identifying signal that a computer can recognize to operate various electronic devices, like room lights, door locks, or elevators. While that was still a long way off from what O'Halloran was proposing, in 2018 it was reported that a group is working on making GPS-enabled chips to track relatives with dementia. In the future, there will be GPS tracking of folks using a biochip implanted under their skin, something that was dismissed as a paranoid disorder just a few decades ago. Crazy conspiracy theories almost always suggest the government is behind it all. And they were right again. Manufacturers of industrial alcohol had been mixing their product with dangerous chemicals for years prior to Prohibition. A 1926 issue of the Camden Morning Post criticized the practice, saying it undermined Prohibition by turning alcohol poisoning into a public health crisis. Some, including a senator, argued that the government's actions amounted to legalizing murder. Moreover, between 1926 and 1933, the federal government pushed manufacturers to use stronger poisons to discourage bootleggers from turning the alcohol into moonshine. The government was indeed poisoning alcohol and admitted to it, publishing a short book titled The Effects of Poisoning Alcohol by the U.S. Treasury Department. The official explanation was not to enforce prohibition, but to manage federal revenue. Sounds like a steaming pile of bullshit to me. That didn't stop the bootleggers or their customers, and by the end of Prohibition, more than 10,000 Americans had been killed by the tainted booze. Project Northwoods was a covert proposal developed by the U.S. Department of Defense in the early 1960s. The plan aimed to justify a military invasion of Cuba by staging false flag operations inside the U.S. During the Cold War, with tensions high between the U.S. and Fidel Castro's communist regime, the project outlined strategies to create a pretext for war. The plan included several deceptive tactics. It proposed orchestrating attacks on U.S. military and civilian targets, like blowing up a U.S. ship or hijacking commercial airplanes to create the appearance of Cuban aggression. The plan involved creating fake evidence to implicate the Cuban government in these staged incidents, thus manipulating public opinion and gaining support for military action. Project Northwoods was ultimately rejected by President Kennedy and never executed. The details of the plan were kept secret until declassified documents revealed its existence decades later. This disclosure confirmed the fears of those who suspected that governments could engage in such covert operations. The revelation of Project Northwoods underscores how conspiracy theories can sometimes be grounded in reality. Initially, the idea that our government would orchestrate false flag operations seemed implausible to many. However, the confirmation of Project Northwoods validated these concerns and demonstrated that such plans were indeed considered at high levels of government. The impact of this revelation has been significant, contributing to broader skepticism about government transparency. It highlights the importance of scrutinizing official narratives and acknowledges that historical evidence can sometimes uncover unsettling truths about government actions. Project Northwoods serves as a reminder of the potential for conspiracy theories to be based on real, albeit hidden, agendas. The Illuminati and the National Security Agency are in cahoots. I'm here to tell you that a link does in fact exist between these two. That link is actually a hyperlink. If you type Illuminati backward and add .com into a web browser, it will take you to the NSA website. Go ahead and try it if you don't believe me. I did, and it works. It kind of freaked me out a little bit. This redirection is allegedly not due to any official connection between the Illuminati and the NSA, but rather it was supposedly the result of a domain registration and redirect set up by an individual named John Finley. It's said Finley registered the domain and set it up to redirect to the NSA's website as an assumed prank. And since the NSA has such a good sense of humor about these types of things, they decided to leave the redirect in. The NSA has neither denied nor confirmed Finley works for them, which is standard operating procedure for the NSA. The government is spying on you. In an era of rapid technological advancement, this is one of the most startling revelations to date. This theory, long dismissed as paranoia, was unequivocally confirmed in 2013 by Edward Snowden, a former National Security Agency contractor. Snowden leaked classified documents revealing the existence of extensive surveillance programs operated by the NSA. These programs, like PRISM, X-Keyscore, and Tempora, showed and proved that the NSA was collecting vast amounts of data from ordinary citizens without their knowledge. PRISM, for instance, allowed the NSA to directly access the servers of major tech companies like Google, Facebook, and Apple to collect emails, photos, and documents without a warrant. X-Keyscore enabled analysts to search through databases of emails, online chats, and browsing histories without prior authorization. Tempora involved tapping into fiber optic cables to capture global internet traffic. These revelations shocked the world, igniting debates on privacy, security, and government overreach. The extent of the surveillance was staggering. The NSA collected metadata from millions of phone calls, tracking who called whom, when, and for how long. They also intercepted internet communications, often in real time. Snowden's disclosures also highlighted the collaboration between the NSA and foreign intelligence agencies, like the UK's GCHQ, which further expanded the reach of these surveillance activities. public outcry led to legislative changes like the USA Freedom Act of 2015, which aimed to curtail some of the NSA's activities, but not all of them. However, many privacy advocates argue that these reforms are not enough, and the debate over government surveillance continues to this day. The once poo-pooed conspiracy theory has since become a chilling reality, underscoring the need for vigilance in the digital age. The assassination attempt of President Trump was an inside job. On July 13, 2024, at 6:11 p.m., a crazed lunatic tried to assassinate former President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania during a rally. At first, the narrative was that this punk was a lone wolf. He did it all on his own, without any outside help. As the smoke cleared and more details surfaced, it seems he did have help. The first issue is, how did he get past security with a rifle and a rangefinder, let alone set up in direct line of sight of the Secret Service snipers? Well, it turns out the Secret Service were notified via text of a shooter on a roof with a rifle 90 minutes before the attempted assassination of Donald Trump by local law enforcement. Local police had to do it via text because the Secret Service didn't coordinate with local police beforehand, which never happens.
We were supposed to get a face-to-face briefing with the Secret Service snipers whenever they arrived, and that never happened. So I think that was probably a pivotal point where I started thinking things were wrong, because that never happened, and we had no communication with the Secret Service.
You had no communication with the Secret Service at all on that Saturday?
Not until after the shooting.
They always coordinate with the local police. For some strange reason, they didn't this time. Trump's team even requested additional security prior to this, but it was denied. When oversight was attempted by Congress by asking the head of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, what the hell happened, she had to be forced into testifying via subpoena, and even then, she gave a series of non-answers to the questions. Very sus and completely unacceptable. She was eventually forced to resign in disgrace. If the Secret Service knew there was a threat, why didn't they pull Trump off stage immediately? Why didn't they eliminate the threat as soon as they perceived it? Was it because they were under orders to allow the shooter to get some shots off first? Why else would they not do their job? And from how high up did the orders come? I find it pretty interesting that shortly after Trump survived the attempt on his life, President Biden dropped out of the race. This is all very fishy, and a thorough investigation has to happen. Sounds to me like the government is in dire need of an enema. As I wrap up our dive into conspiracy theories, it's clear how important it is to not dismiss something just because someone says it's a conspiracy theory. On the contrary, that's when it's time to pay attention. Think critically and keep an open mind. With so much information out there, figuring out what's true and what's not can be pretty fucking tough. We should always question the sources, check the evidence, and get different viewpoints. That's how we can tell which theories might have some truth and which are just bullshit. Don't get me wrong, it's good to be skeptical, but we also need to consider that some theories could be more real than you know. History has shown that several conspiracy theories have turned out to be true, so brushing off all unconventional ideas could mean missing out on important discoveries. By balancing skepticism with an open mind, we can navigate today's complex world of information and discover the truth. Thank you for watching my video. Since you made it this far, go ahead and tap that like button and subscribe. That way you won't miss any of my mindfuckness. I think that's a word. And sincerely, I really do appreciate it. I've also got some pretty kick-fucking-ass merch. The link's in the description. Check it. I got Scarinator t-shirts and tanks, Stay Creepy mugs, t-shirts and stickers, and all kinds of dope miscellaneous stuff. Until next time, y'all keep it real, keep it chill, and stay creepy! Catch you on the flip. Thank you for watching and listening until the very end. You kick total ass.